Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Astrology News Report, an alternate view of world events as seen through the lens of Vedic astrology, presented by yours truly, Ron Berger. Today is November 29th, 2020. In this segment, we'll take a look at what's coming up in the zodiac for December 2020. But before we begin, a note to all viewers. The weekly videos on this channel are available to people who donate to the channel. You are watching the once-a-month free public video. If you would like to have access to the upcoming month's weekly reports, stick around for the link at the end of this video to make your donation. Thanks. Having resumed normal forward motion after ending its retrograde in mid-November, Mars is now proceeding to the end of sidereal Pisces. It's the planet of action, force, and conflict, in the sign of hope, support, and sentimentality. Pisces is a water sign. Water signs are based in the emotions. When the planet of force and conflict feels challenged by difficult situations while in a water sign, the result is irrational anger. In the Vedic birth chart of the United States, Mars transiting in Pisces puts the planet of action and conflict in the 4th house. In the chart of a nation, this sector represents the lands of the country and the people who live on the land, the common people. Also, Mars in this position is directly opposite to the 10th house and the USA natal Saturn. The 10th house stands for the leader and his party, currently President Trump and the Republicans. Saturn stands for the established order. Thus, the people of the country are stirred up by the Mars energy, and Trump and the GOP, as well as the institutions of the government, find themselves threatened and under attack by the opposition of Mars. Another downside of Mars transiting in the 4th house of the common people is that Mars is the planet of infections and inflammations. So this transit seems to confirm what we already know. COVID-19 infection rates will be still going up in December. Mars is getting an extra boost from its relationship with Uranus, which is transiting in sidereal Aries, one of the Mars-ruled signs. Thus, the planet of freedom, disruption, and sudden unexpected events is contributing its energy to Mars, making Mars even more volatile and keeping the pot boiling. The relationship between Mars and Uranus will actually intensify later in the month. Mars will be leaving Pisces on December 23rd, whereupon it will join up with Uranus in sidereal Aries. Mars will gain strength by being in its own sign, Aries. Aries is the sign of adventure, and therefore new beginnings. Aries is one of the fire signs. Mars is a fiery planet. Fire signs are committed to their own point of view, leading, not following. Fire signs don't compromise readily. Uranus is the planet of freedom, rebellion, and disruption. Uranus is also the planet of realizations. So the Mars-Uranus in Aries combination simultaneously promises a new beginning, but also the potential for disruptive, radical actions. While Mars is in Aries, it will be transiting in the 5th house of the USA chart, the sector that stands for the nation's children, the schools, and the teachers. Mars combined with Uranus in this part of the chart suggests radical actions having to do with the education system of the country. Also, Mars transiting in the 5th house is the planet of conflict, opposed to the 11th house, the sector that stands for Congress. Thus, the Mars transit is going to cause trouble for the Congress. And this will be just in time for Georgia's special Senate election on January 5th. On November 20th, Jupiter changed signs and entered sidereal Capricorn. As we progress into December, Jupiter is getting closer and closer to a conjunction with Saturn. The exact conjunction will be on December 21st. Saturn is the ruler of the sign Capricorn. A planet in its own sign is strong, so Saturn has the upper hand in this combination. With two important planets conjunct in one sign, the energy of Capricorn will be emphasized during December and into the new year. Capricorn is one of the earth signs, and therefore focused on the material world and tangible outcomes. I call Capricorn the manager sign of the zodiac. Capricorn feels responsible for everybody and everything, and believes that by doing a good job, honor and respect from others will follow. Capricorn is more conventional and not interested in radical actions. Jupiter combined with Saturn has positive and negative ramifications. As the planet of prosperity, Jupiter combined with Saturn's structure and discipline in Capricorn, the sign of management, can provide a structured recovery. But first, while Jupiter and Saturn are in near exact conjunction during December and into January, the planet of restriction and suffering will be overwhelming the planet of prosperity, an indicator of an economic downturn. The restriction on prosperity is a widespread energy pattern. Many countries in the world will have to suffer. So this combination forms a counterpoint to all the Mars activity. In fact, the Saturn-Jupiter combination in Capricorn will form an inimical square aspect to the Mars with Uranus combination in Aries. Astrologically, these two energy patterns will be struggling with each other as we move into 2021. Saturn and Jupiter trying to maintain some sort of normality, Mars and Uranus trying to promote radical change. There's a major celestial spectacle happening in the middle of December, a total solar eclipse. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see it in the northern hemisphere, but we will be experiencing effects from it. In the zodiac, this eclipse will occur at the very end of sidereal Scorpio at 29 degrees Scorpio. The ancients considered eclipses to be portentous, in other words, indicating something bad coming in the near future. Astrologically, the traditional interpretation of eclipses, especially total solar eclipses, is that they signify a forthcoming event which initiates major change. So, usually, for something to change, something has to end. That makes sense because an eclipse blocks out the light from one of the celestial sources of light, either the sun or the moon. An eclipse right on top of a natal planet in an individual's chart is a signal that a big change is coming for that person. The total solar eclipse at 29 degrees Scorpio is within 1 degree of conjunction with Donald Trump's natal moon and directly opposite his natal sun. Since he's already the president, and given the current circumstances, that can only mean one thing for him. The events associated with the eclipse don't happen on the day of the eclipse, but rather afterwards, especially when a planet subsequently transits through the eclipse degree. In this case, we get Mercury, the planet of rational thinking and making decisions, transiting through the eclipse degree just a couple of days after the eclipse. And then Venus will transit through right after New Year's Day. And yes, December 14th, the day of the eclipse, is the day that the Electoral College meets to vote. In other words, a consequential day for the United States, and again, an indication of big change coming. Okay, a couple more things to pay attention to in December. Mercury and Venus. Mercury entered sidereal Scorpio at the end of November. Venus enters Scorpio on December 10th. So Scorpio is another sign that will be featured during this month. Scorpio is a sign closely associated with secrets, research, and investigations. Mercury is the planet of facts and data. Thus, Mercury transiting in Scorpio suggests that there will be some interesting facts that will be uncovered during early December. In the middle of the month, Mercury changes signs, leaving Scorpio and entering Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a sign devoted to its own truth, its own point of view. So this will signal a return to partisan politics as we close out the year. Venus enters Scorpio on December 10th. That's the planet of relationship in the sign of secrets. So, great for all those who are engaging in secret affairs. Another special quality of Scorpio is that this sign is really good at organizing for a group goal. Scorpio wants to have power and use power. One way to get power is by forming alliances with others. Venus in Scorpio is the planet of relationships and agreements, and the sign of secrets and alliances. So this combination suggests that as the new government of the USA starts to take shape, there will be a lot of maneuvering going on behind the scenes to set things up for what's going to happen later. Okay, one more celestial pattern now in progress and worth noting. Neptune is stuck at the midpoint of the Rahu Ketu axis. So for those not familiar, Rahu and Ketu are the Sanskrit terms for the north and south nodes of the moon. The moon's nodes are the crossover points of the apparent paths of the sun and moon as seen from the earth. These crossover points are the eclipse points, and hence their importance both in astronomy and astrology. Anyway, the midpoint between the nodes is known as a sensitive area that puts tension on the significations of any planet transiting through. In other words, this is a location in the zodiac where planets can get into trouble. So, here we have Neptune, planet of fantasy, imagination, confusion, delusions, deception, doubt and suspicion, hanging out at the midpoint of the nodes, and that will take place all through December. The downside of Neptune, namely doubt, suspicion, confusion, and so forth, will be emphasized. Due to Neptune being a non-rational planet, a planet representing ghosts and dreams, the energy is hard to quantify and will manifest as a prolonged period of vague uneasiness. The nodes don't proceed through the zodiac in an orderly manner. They sort of jerk along, sometimes spending a couple of months stuck on 1 degree. Neptune is just now finishing a retrograde period and is therefore stationary during December and January, so also stuck at a particular degree. Thus, this detrimental planetary pattern will be with us for quite a while. It will be a background energy pattern to everything else that is going on during December and January. Okay, so there's a brief look at planetary patterns for December 2020. And now a reminder, you have been watching Astrology News Report's once-a-month free public video. If you would like to see the next 4 weekly reports, donate $20 by clicking on or touching the donation card you see at the end of this video, which will take you to the donation page. If $20 for a month is too much for you, you can donate $10. The link to each week's report will be sent to you via your email. Here's a description of what's coming up in the December videos. December 6th, Venus in Scorpio, and the effects for your rising sign chart. December 13th, an analysis and predictions for the December 14th Total Solar Eclipse. December 20th, Mars in Aries, the analysis and effects for your rising sign chart. December 27th, Astrology Patterns and the Georgia Senate election and U.S. politics. You'll not want to miss out on all these great upcoming videos, so here's the link for your donation. Just click or touch the card, which will take you to the donation page. And if the card does not appear or doesn't work, you can find the link in the comment section below. Thank you, and until next week.